So in the last report, we were talking about the Swiss city of Lausanne in the French part of Switzerland, where some riots broke out after a migrant, Marvin M., 17 years old, had a fatal accident. He was being chased by the police with a stolen motorbike, a scooter actually, like this moto scooter. And on his chase, he had an accident and he didn't survive the accident. Now afterwards, in the night, after, some riots broke out. There were a lot of young migrants, most of them, in a certain borough of the city, causing a lot of damage, violence, and mayhem. Police reported 150 to 200 people. We also saw this video. If you check the episode here, we also saw a video of a local politician who was being beaten up by a large group of young, very young migrants. Now, of course, there was a lot of damage going on and a lot of violation of laws. They also damaged some public transport buses. Some of them got sprayed on with graffiti, but others were heavily damaged. And there was a lot of violence and fear in the city. They set on fire a lot of these big trash cans, and they were shooting with firework at the police, throwing stones, throwing Molotov cocktails, and causing all kinds of troubles. So today we had this news here coming out that a 19-year-old young guy was taken in custody by the police after the riots in Lausanne. And Fred Valina here commented, "Comme par hasard, il n'est pas suisse." That means, by coincidence, the guy is not Swiss. So of course he's not Swiss, because I hardly doubt that any Swiss people, real Swiss people, were participating in those riots. And if then those young guys or those people were from a certain group, either the Antifa or some spoiled young brats of rich families who don't have a purpose in their life, and they kind of don't care about anything, and they basically like when things get destroyed. But besides these, I'm pretty sure all the participants in those riots were migrants, and most probably a lot of them, or a big chunk of them, illegal migrants who came here illegally, who were asylum seekers, most probably out of a country in the Middle East or Northern Africa. Now, in the first moments, the Swiss press, the mainstream media, was trying to frame the police for this. That it's the police fault, and the entire violence just broke out because of these racistic WhatsApp chat groups. But the problem is here, Marvin M., the migrant who died, did not really fit into the picture that these media were painting of him. He already had problems with the law. He was this sort of rapper where I don't know. I mean, have a look at this here. He did like some sort of gangster rap, of course. What else? And in one of his videos, he allegedly even was posing with the same stolen scooter that later led to his death. So the mainstream media really wanted to paint this picture, right? That the guy was very much integrated, and it's the police who is very racist and homophobe and also anti-Semitic even. But on the other hand, those WhatsApp chat groups were only there were 10 police officers of the entire police force of Lausanne were in those chats. And those chats were closed down 2 years ago. That happened 2 years ago when this was closed down. So how come should this be responsible for the violence that broke out now? And as I mentioned before, the people who are committing the violence, most of them, most probably, were migrants or Antifa. So now Lausanne already, now for the second time, because 2 years ago there were already some riots in Lausanne and also 7 people got arrested. Check this out. And this year again 7 people. Now we have the number 8 who was taken in custody right now. But it's like a typical, it's the typical thing. Like, people get on the wrong side of the law, and then something happens. There are some certain consequences. And what they start to do is play the victim. Of course, they will play the victim. And will use this victim play to justify more violence. So they commit the crime or commit violence, then play the victim and use it to justify to reenact in the violence again. This is where like 20 migrants start attacking this local politician, a Swiss man, and they are shouting like the guy is a fascist, and now everybody runs and start attacking him. Luckily, as we showed in our last report, he was not hurt seriously. There were no serious injuries. But if you look at this, so we have seen this. This is crazy. This is crazy. Lausanne, who could have thought this 40 years ago? Picture postcard place with lakes and the Alps. Perfect, safe, peaceful, prosperous. And now, this is what mass migration does. Well, we don't have to over exaggerate these riots. But it's not wrong. What she says is not wrong. Because the thing is this, protesting is fine. That's in our DNA, actually. We should protest, but peacefully. Peacefully, but protest in masses. You can be loud. Of course, we can be loud, but we do it peacefully. It makes no sense just to walk around, attack the police, and destroy private property most of the time. And if not, like all the damages that are being done have to be paid with taxes. So the taxpayers are paying for the damage. Now, who is participating in those riots? The majority? Migrants. Most probably illegal migrants. They don't pay taxes anyway. They don't pay taxes anyway. And if there are some Swiss people involved, then most probably it's this group of young, spoiled brats of rich families. They also don't pay taxes. It's their parents. It's their parents who pay the taxes. So these people don't care. And also, they don't want to integrate. They want to separate. They want to create chaos. So whatever reason they will have, or we will give them, or they think we gave them a reason, they will use it to create chaos and actions like this. They don't even really care what's the reason, just to be there and start some riots and start some mayhem and start destroying the authority. And then we have the media, the left media, who has the nerve in this situation when it's already tensed and the police is under attack. The police is fighting against this violence and is trying to protect the Swiss citizens, the normal people, the citizens who are calm, who want to go out in the streets, or the children who want to go there and play. And the media start blaming it on the police, putting more pressure on the police. Even, again, like heating up the flame of violence, which is already there, unjustified. Because if you would not break the law in the first place, everything else that follows would not have to be done. So who is to be blamed? The police for trying to keep law and order? Or the illegal migrants or the migrants who are breaking the law, being on the wrong side of the law again, and then playing the victim again, and then create more violence again? The left. Of course, they never want to mention the word migrant, or put it in their mouth that there is some sort of problem with the situation that they are creating. Of course not. They never would mention that we have a problem and that those people, they don't care about our values. They don't care about Christian values. Because if anybody who cares about Christian values would not do such things, they would not go here and do these violent acts of rioting. These people, they don't respect it. Then they don't want to. So the left, of course, are painting this picture, and even they want to blame it on the police. And let's say the right or the far right, the traditional people, there may be some sort of, especially the international ones, because we here from the Lookout Post, we are seated in Switzerland. So we are right here. We understand everything that is written in German, in French, in English. It's like we have 360-degree view, but I can see that other people who now are reporting on this internationally, they may be over-exaggerated a bit, okay? It's not that bad. It's not, we don't have like, it's bad. It's bad. I don't want to downplay it, but we don't have to over-exaggerate it. So here I have to quote Weisgrad24 again. Switzerland is experiencing its first migrant riots, which is not 100% true. As I mentioned before, we had it 2 years ago already, and it was also migrant related. Here, July 3rd, 2023, Grantler, he posted this: more than 100 young people in center of Lausanne destroying stores, possibly caused by the colonial history of Switzerland. These are like rioters from France. They came from France. And this was already some riots in Lausanne, migrant related. So it's not exactly 100% the first time. So this is very important here from Stefan Töni, what he says here, because he talks about what the media was playing. The picture that they were painting is not the truth, and they want to sell us a lie again, especially here in Switzerland itself, that he was like this rapper and he was very integrated and he was dreaming about a big career, and now he's dead because the police are racists and they drove him into death, which is not true. And he talks about this like, that's blame this on racism again. Like, so please leave a comment down there in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.